Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FPL Don't Panic. Quick midweek update. Just a very quick midweek update. We've obviously got a few European matches out of the way now. I've had a bit of further thinking as I've reflected on game week 4, setting up the team for game week 5. Tricky. I think most of us will be finding it a little tricky with the way the fixtures are falling. And I want to talk a little bit more about DEF CON as well. Some further thinking on that will make me sound as though I'm contradicting myself on the things I've spoken about in the last week or two, maybe for most of the season, but I'm not. Just a little trap I think we have to maybe just be a little bit wary of falling into. I'll talk about that in a minute. First up, want to get this one up quickly. Don't forget I'm running the DEF CON competition again. Last week it was, as I say, it was basically guess how many points my 5 defenders would score. Heather was the winner. Congratulations again, Heather, on that. Make sure, don't forget to pop me an email with where to post a T-shirt to. But yeah, how many points? Running it again because I'm going to talk a little bit about DEF CON so that we don't fall into a DEF CON trap. But basically, the competition is how many points do you think my 5 defenders, whether I play them all 5 or not, will score? Virgil, Tarkowski, Lacroix, Byrne, and Sinisi. How many points do you think they will score this coming game week as a unit? As a unit, not individually. Enter the individuals if you want. I'll just add them up. But as a unit, how many points do you think they will score this coming game week? And we will select the winner when it's all done and dusted. And the one with the closest points or exact points will win a T-shirt. And if it's a draw, I'll just do a draw to decide who wins. So don't forget to pop your entries in the comments. As I said, we've got Cameron at the moment with a guess of 28 and Alan with 19. So big gap there for the 28, I have to say, Cameron. I'm going to talk a little bit about DEF CON before I go into the main point of this video, which is team selection and transfer targets for game week 5, 6, 7 maybe. Because I think also we do have to, I know I've been pushing the whole DEF CON thing, and I believe fundamentally I'm right, but what we also have to be mindful of here is there have been an extraordinary amount of clean sheets in these first 3-4 game weeks. Ridiculous. What was it? 10 in the last game week, and even the game weeks 1 and 2. So DEF CON is having an effect, but so is the just massively above average amount of clean sheets we're seeing in these first 3 or 4 game weeks. So we have to be careful of that. To my mind, DEF CON was about finding those defenders that would get DEF CON 50% of the time, maybe a bit more, get a couple of appearance points, and then once every 5, they pick up a clean sheet. Basically achieving an average of 5, and if you're lucky, maybe 6. But with these amount of clean sheets we are getting at the moment, these numbers are getting pumped up massively. Defenders with and also some unusual players, coming in with anomaly hauls, so to speak, if they do get that attacking return. So yeah, you do want a Tarkowski. Tarkowski to me is your DEF CON king. You expect Everton to keep a couple of clean sheets. 1 in 3, 1 in 4, 1 in 5. Gets his DEF CON, so he's hitting that nice 5, 6 average, and then once in a while he'll bang in a goal, maybe a couple across the season. But the amount of clean sheets we're seeing, there's hardly a forward or a midfielder in the. There's only a few in the sort of top 20 overall point scorers. If you look at the team of the season at the moment, so far, season to date, it is a back 5. DEF CON's having an influence, but it is massively pumped by these just anomaly of clean sheets we're seeing. So I'm not saying we shouldn't target those clean sheets. Of course we should, but it's we just need to be a little bit careful. So I think ultimately we'll fall into a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 type template formation. That's where I think it will go. Back 5 is risky, but having 5 defenders that you can play in any given game week where you do have some injuries, etc., and you're going to get a baseline of about 4, and then with a bit of luck pick up that clean sheet. That's great to have those players on the bench. So all I'll say on that for now. We'll see how it develops. It's an evolving story. Right. Let's have a look at what I might be doing. So we've had some European matches. That's helping to influence a little bit of my thinking. We've gone with a 4-3-3 at the moment. Just bear with me a second. I need to bring up a spreadsheet in my head. Yes, so yeah, at the moment I'm going with Petrovic, Byrne, Lacroix, Van Dijk, Sinisi, Gapco, Semenyo, Elliott coming in, scored his first goal. Has he broken the Villa duck? And that we brought forward to the Premiership, and we start to see some goals. I think my team does look a little bit stronger now that I have sort of, got a bit more faith now that he will start and bringing him in. And will he be the spark that lights the Villa fire? Hope so. Hope so. And Mateta, Ekitike, and Haaland. And then with Tarkowski moving to the bench, despite having been doing really, really well for me, but yeah, Liverpool away, and Dewsbury Hall. And Rodri on the bench, obviously, really, just difficult fixtures. Just difficult fixtures all round there, isn't it? So I think that team as a whole does look better than going with the back five, where I did have Elliott on the bench. How does it look in the spreadsheet? I'm going to talk a little bit about my transfer targets. This is as much about trying to get away with this game week 5, which is always going to be difficult because my wild card was sort of built for going forward, obviously, which is pretty transparent when you see how it looks in the spreadsheet and how the fixtures are lining up. Let me just put something a bit there. That's nice and clear. Yeah, let's just talk a little bit about transfer targets. Obviously, the team as it stands. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look as bad as it could have done, I think, for game week 5, which is clearly just a difficult fixture week. Anyone that is wildcarding for 5, I'm not sure I would advise it. I mean, if you're building a wildcard for 5, I think you actually have to build your wildcard for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and just not worry about 5 and your fixtures going out. Free hit 5, I wouldn't. If you've got your free hit and you need to play yourself out of trouble, wouldn't be averse to that, I suppose. For me, the team as a whole, if we look at 1, 2, 3, 4 to achieve 72 game week 1, this unit, I didn't necessarily play all these, or didn't even necessarily have all these players. This is what it would have achieved, as a unit. I've got Elliott down there because he obviously hasn't been playing. I've just got him down as a baseline of 3, although he actually did get 3 and 4, didn't he? I've still got that in white there. But as a whole, and you can see where I've got the numbers in white where players have achieved DEFCON. And as you can see there in game week 4, only Sinisi that's playing achieved DEFCON in game week 4, and Tarkowski, who was on the bench. But as a whole, 72, 55, 66, 61, that is an average of 63, and it's also a median of 63. When I do my own predictions, I tend to choose the lowest of either the median or the average, and at the moment the median and the average are actually both exactly the same. So generally my prediction is 63 for this team. It actually feels optimistic if I'm being honest, but the spreadsheet says 63. It'll be interesting to see how accurate that is, and as I say, if I get a nice clean game week and I make the right captaincy choice, and that is the big one for me. Still undecided there, I think, between Haaland, I'll go the perma captain Haaland strategy, or the other strategy of captain the player with the highest average, which would be Semenyo. I might just toss a coin on this one because I have my captaincy choices, apart from game week 4, have been atrocious. I'd be very happy with a 63 though. I'd be very, very happy with a 63, given it's a tricky game week. And then you can clearly see then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 going out look pretty decent. And as I say, game week 6, there are some difficult fixtures in there, but the bench looks really good to bring in, Tarkowski with West Ham at home, Dewsbury Hall, West Ham, and Rodri with Burnley. That team's going to look really solid for 6. I'm going to roll this week. If you look at my watch list there, this is not a strategy that's set in concrete. And I have been thinking about, is there a player that I can bring in for 5 that would just make things just that little bit better? Just that little bit better. So there's a little bit of a temptation. Do I just bring in Gyökeres for City at home? City's defence, I think, still can be got at. Even a crappy United team probably should have had a goal or 2 against them. That is the only one that tempts me, is to bring in Gyökeres early. And the plan was, and again, not a definitive plan, was to roll this week, roll next week as well, probably. In truth, try and get to at least 6, but ideally 7, with the 3 transfers, as I then make decisions on who are the Arsenal assets that I bring in. Now, at the moment, I've genuine concerns about which Arsenal assets, and that's why I don't want to go early on this. We saw Gyökeres come off again, and we saw Eze come off again, and was it Trossard and Martinelli came on and got the goals for Arsenal against Atletico Madrid last night. So that's a concern. I mean, we want players that are going to be on that pitch for 90 minutes. Who is going to be on the pitch for 90 minutes for Arsenal? Well, Raya. Don't really want to do a goalkeeper transfer, as I'm not convinced by my own goalkeeper choice. I brought in the wild card. I did it from monetary side in the belief that he would keep the odd clean sheet here and there. Need to see how that one plays out. I made a decision. It was strategic so I keep plenty of money in the bank to make the moves I want to make. But it might have been a mistake. We'll see. That I have to let that one play out. But for Raya, certainly in 7, West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Burnley. You could see 4 clean sheets there, couldn't you? Hell, I can see that way that Arsenal defence is going. You could see a clean sheet. If I did want to do an early transfer, City and Newcastle, I wouldn't bet against them getting clean sheets there. And we've seen that, maybe like in game week 1, they're the more difficult fixture in red, that, he is capable of getting a little bit of a haul. Timber. I do like Timber. I really, really like Timber as a player. He's 11.3 average there because he obviously didn't play in game week 1. The 24 anomaly obviously pushes that up a lot, but I do like the way he plays down that wing. There is some attacking intent there. No DEFCON. Gabriel. The thing to worry about Timber is there some rotation risk there? That's why I haven't got Calafiori in there, who I also like a lot. But other minutes guaranteed. As best players come back. Don't know. Gabriel. So there is your next, same as Raya, the 100% that you could bring in. I'd be pretty damn certain that he should start against West Ham, Fulham, Palace, and Burnley. Now, where I think I might go Gabriel, even though he's not a DEFCON monster, I know he got his DEFCON, as you can see there, with his 9-pointer in game week 4. So just feel I started to see it a little bit against Forest. Finally starting to see him getting on the end of 1 or 2 of those corners. When Saka comes back in, are there goals imminent for Gabriel? Because frankly, at the moment, our 5.75 average, he's kept 3 clean sheets. Well, it's no better. It's like 6 minutes. No better, than my Burn or my Lacroix, or Sinisi. And this is the thing I'm taking. You see what I mean? 6 million. There are 4.5 million defenders getting as good an average as that, and I haven't even got them all. If I've got you see further down my watch list there, you've got Van Ben, who also, to be honest with you, hasn't been getting any DEFCON, and he is on a 6.75 average. It almost feels like a sideways move. I need to see goals out of Gabriel. We know he has got that in his locker, but we haven't seen it for a long time. But I do have a feeling there might be goals imminent from him in those fixtures, and just seeing him starting to get into that box again, and obviously those Arsenal set pieces. Saka potentially coming back as well. Could be a good move. Could be a sideways move. As I say, it's like, you're going to want Arsenal assets. Where do you go? So as you can see, I've got Xhaka is there. Just an average of 5 at the moment, but he has returned 2 and 4. He will start, but is it just going to be a series of early frustrating substitutions? And is his average is not really going to hit much higher than 5 or 6. Eze, really, really, really like Eze. But again, European football, rotations, early substitutions. There aren't that many safe Arsenal assets if you want someone out on that pitch. So then we get to old favourites like Saka, who's obviously injured at the moment. It's a guaranteed 7 points average from a midfielder, season after season. That's where he ends up, and that's why I don't want to do any early transfers, and why I'm glad I avoided the temptation. Despite I would have been a few points better off if I had brought in a couple of Arsenal assets on my wild card going forward. Just transfers waiting to happen. Who else is on the watch list here? Isak. I've put Isak's numbers from last year, his averages from last year. He was just under 7 last year as his average. Do I just look at one? Do we do an Arsenal treble up? I think is the question I'm asking myself, and I'm planning for this treble up. But is it actually a wise move? And I think we just have to let these European matches and see how the next few weeks go. Because you see someone there like a Moises Caicedo. Okay, numbers bumped up a little bit by those goals, but DEFCON every week. What is he? 5.5 million. It's pretty much a 4 or 5 pointer every week, and then the 1 in 5, 1 in 6, 1 in 7 attacking returns that bump his numbers up to a nice little steady 6 point average. These are the and I definitely need a Chelsea to bring in a Chelsea asset at some point. Van Ven, got him, see him there. Salah's there, and I guess it's the seeing a lot of people talking. Oh, I've got to go to Salah Haaland. Got to go to Salah Haaland. I don't think it's that Salah's not playing well, because he isn't. But he's not been allowed to play well. He's just in a different role now. The team is set up differently and plays in a different way. And it's an average of 6.25 across 4 fixtures. And that's been driven by 2 or 3 late goals. Was it two late penalties, late goal, a late assist, wasn't it? Yeah, late assist, and 2 late penalties. Imagine if those hadn't gone in. What would be doing? People would be selling Salah hand over fist. People are now trying to do Salah Haaland drafts. I just think, at the money he costs, there's plenty of other would go for a Caicedo, even take his goals out and just have an average of 5. Surely that's better value than Salah for what he's costing, averaging 6.25. Don't think Salah Haaland's the way to go. I really don't. Tempted by it a little bit, but no. If he explodes again, then we may reconsider that. And then of course we've got João Pedro, who is just ticking along very, very nicely. Is the template going to be Haaland João in a 4-4-2, or Haaland João Jokeris? Am I been overthinking? Whether Jokeris is going to get 60 minutes or 90 minutes? He's not going to get 90 minutes. I just feel with the European games. But with those fixtures, does it really matter? West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Burnley. Does it really matter? And I think it just affirms my decision to go against my nature, to hit that transfer, my itchy transfer button finger. And hold tight. Roll. It doesn't look bad. Don't be tempted by the early transfer. Team doesn't look awful for 5. It looks really good for 6. Try and get to 7. And the squad's deep enough to play through if there are any little injury issues that crop up in these European matches, and see where those rotations really go. And that will give me, as I say, the 3 transfers in the bank, where I can do what I need to do, whether I need to move money out of, say, Van Dijk, because I've got a lot of money tied up there. And there are other options I think that will be cheaper. And that means that maybe I can get to the Palmer or Isaac. So I've got 3.5 million in the bank. So maybe I can look at a sort of, somewhere as I look to move, obviously, minutes risks like Ekatike and Gapco out, Isaac, Pedro, Palmer. Don't know. Don't know. Questions, questions, questions. More questions than answers at the moment, which really sort of affirms my decision. Go with the team, as I've got it there. 63 would be an absolute fucking joy. It really would. That would. It's not my 70, I know, but it just keeps me on track. Hopefully keeps me steady. And then yeah, just because there is a lot of people out there at the moment starting to take hits, trying to get Haaland in. Even despite the difficult fixture against Arsenal. And then they're going to, obviously, then when they realise they need multiple Arsenal players in 7, there's going to be more hits taken, or etc. etc. It's a long and winding road, folks. It's a long and winding road. Right, don't forget to enter in the comments the points that you think Burn, Lacroix, Van Dijk, Senesi, and Tarkowski will score as a unit this week for your chance to win an FPL Don't Panic t-shirt. Might be back in another couple of days. Well, yeah, I think it'll probably be Friday deadline decisions. I think this is where I'm going though. Unless there is any injuries or anything unexpected happens over the next few days, I think it looks better now having Elliott in, putting Tarkowski on the bench. As much as that hurts me, because I think Tarkowski will come away with a 4-pointer. So hopefully Elliott can beat that. We'll see. Take care. Have fun. Play your own game. Don't panic. I will talk to you Friday. See you soon. Bye-bye.